Let's turn to other news for the moment, though, because street protests in Iran over the death of a woman in custody have spread to more towns and cities. Mahsa Amini's family claim she was attacked after being arrested by the morality police. They say she died of natural causes. 3 people have so far died in the unrest. This report from BBC Persian's Rana Rahimpour contains details some people may find distressing.
Women in Iran set their headscarves on fire in fury. They are tired of the morality police beating them up and the Islamic Republic leaders who police their every move. Their protest is sparked by the death of this woman. Her name is Mahsa Amini and she was just 22. She was arrested by the morality police in Tehran earlier this month. They said she wasn't wearing the mandatory hijab or headscarf properly. The security forces have released this CCTV footage of Mahsa in detention. It's heavily edited. Suddenly, Mahsa collapses. The authorities say she had a heart condition, but eyewitnesses say she was beaten up in the police van. She's taken to hospital and ends up in a coma. A few days later, she's dead. Women cry, "Death to the dictator," and wave their headscarves at her funeral. The inscription on her gravestone reads that she's not dead. Her name will become a symbol and live forever. Mahsa was Kurdish, but protests are spreading across Iran. A woman stands calmly in front of a water cannon until it has to reverse. And here, a police motorbike is set on fire. The woman filming shouts, "Look, we've got nothing, but we made them run away." As Mahsa's family predicted, her name has already become a symbol of resistance. Rana Rahimpour, BBC News.
The top of a red cross can be seen from Buckhorn Road, and from the air it's surrounded by flowers, marking the site where 2 teenagers were found dead Sunday afternoon.
And I heard about close to 10 shots going off like an automatic gun, and then I paused for a little bit, and then 5 more shots went off.
David White lives just feet away from where an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old were found dead with gunshot wounds. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said 2 men riding 4-wheelers discovered the bodies.
But he never hurt nobody. And for him to get done like this is I have to have answers.
Tiffany Concepcion is the mother of Devin Clark, an Eastern Alamance High School football player. She filed a missing persons report about an hour before her son was found next to 14-year-old Lyric Woods, a teen she says was her son's friend.
He was an athletic person. He was a good person. He was a good friend. He had a good heart.
Lyric Woods' family reported her missing on Saturday afternoon. An incident report says that Woods' stepfather last saw her home around 11 p.m. on Friday. He went to wake her up Saturday morning, but she was gone. Authorities checked hunting stands and backwood trails and used a canine to search for Lyric, her scent taking the dog into these woods. The report also states a neighbor said they saw Woods riding in a vehicle near where she was found around 3 a.m. on Saturday. Deputies believe Woods got a ride from someone in that car.
Where's the other person? Who's the person that picked either one of them up? Who is the person or people that dropped them off?
It's not long since you wrote the words, "Tennis, I love you, I will never leave you." You wrote those words down and released the news that you're retiring. Are you ready to talk about that now?
Yes, I feel good. It's been an emotional few weeks to go through those words, make sure I've tried to get them right, that they reflect of how I'm feeling, and thanking all the people I wanted to thank along the way, as it's been a very, very long journey, a good one, and I wish it would go on forever. Now it's going to change, and it's going to go on in a different manner, but I just wanted to let the fans and the people know who have supported me so long, for so many years, and everywhere around the world that I will still be seen. I love this game, and I will want to stay involved in some shape or form, and I won't be just a ghost or a stranger and not be around anymore.
Why now?
The last 3 years have been tough, to say the least. When I still played the last match for Africa in Cape Town a few years back, I was very unhappy with my knee. And I knew I was on very thin ice for the last year, ever since I played Wimbledon last year. And I tried to come back, but then I just could feel there was a limit to what I could do. And this is not the way to play or try to keep pushing. And I also stopped believing in it, to be honest, and then I got a scan back a few months back, and it was just not the scan also I was hoping for, and this is then when very quickly we realized this was it, and it's okay.
Roger Federer, as a child, dreamt of playing tennis. Did you dream you would be this successful?
Never, never. I don't think anybody grows up and thinks they're going to win this much. You're happy with winning a Wimbledon title, which is already crazy, or becoming world #1 and being the best. Coming from a small country, we don't have a base of so many players. So no, I could totally overachieved in my mind, and had a totally normal upbringing. So for me, it's been an absolute dream of a run that I've had for so long, and I know that, and that's why I'm totally happy to step away as well.
The level of devotion is like nothing I've ever seen. What's that like to be on the other side of?
Well, and this is what's so, in a way, so sad about retirement. It's like that. You will miss those moments where you mean so much to these people. They talk about you every day. All I try to always remind myself: just be yourself, be authentic, don't get carried away. So I've had the fortune to play in front of so many cool fans everywhere around the world. It's been wonderful.
One last question, and it's a really important one. What's next?
Yeah, good question. I always try to keep a clean slate, for when I retire, because I do have 4 children and they're amazing and they need my help. And my wife too, she's always been by my side throughout. And then we'll see how I can stay in the game, in what way. Obviously, I would love to always mentor children and get a new Swiss superstar going. I think it'll be a nice...
A war chosen by one man, to be very blunt. Let us speak plainly. A permanent member of the United Nations Security Council invaded its neighbor, attempted to erase a sovereign state from the map. Russia has shamelessly violated the core tenets of the United Nations Charter. No more important than the clear prohibition against countries taking the territory of their neighbor by force. Again, just today, President Putin has made overt nuclear threats against Europe and a reckless disregard for the responsibilities of the non-proliferation regime. This war is about extinguishing Ukraine's right to exist as a state, plain and simple, and Ukraine's right to exist as a people. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever you believe, that should make your blood run cold.
You have those who are asking for reparations for colonialism.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa, and when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. Maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same time.
That woman so eloquently schooled Donnie Boy. It had nothing to do with her accent, although that was impressive. I mean, he looks stunned. I don't know if he's ever been told this information before in his life. I don't know where he went to school. I know he's not an avid reader of history. And she's right, every bit of it. If reparations are going to be paid out in this country, wouldn't you want it to come from those who actually...
So I was just looking at the court docket here because it's starting to be updated as we're talking. And right now there's 24 exhibits including statement of financial conditions for the former president, Donald Trump. They go back to 2011. So to be clear, these aren't his taxes, but they're what he represented to various financial organizations. So they clearly have the details and have the documents they think they need to prove this civil case. And I think that's an important note when we talk about, and Kristen, you were touching on it, how the president intends to react to this, how his allies intend to react to this. This isn't a he said case or a he said, she said case. This is a case that's based upon the documents and the work of what's been filed with New York State and what's been filed with Manhattan County, where we live, New York County, I should say. So when you look at this, already the numbers, the totals, the digits are in here. You know, for investigative reporters, it's obviously certainly an avenue, but I think it's going to be important to see and to follow this case, what other types of financial information comes out as it pertains to the former president. And very clearly here to what Chuck was speaking about, if they have these type of documents and are making a referral, they could conceivably send all of this over to the U.S. Attorney's Office here in New York, as well as the IRS's criminal division. So for them to take a look at this, they might have a head start, at least on digging out the facts.
And just have a couple of examples here of what she has called these gross overvaluations. Trump, the tower, the triplex, it was almost 11,000 square feet, but he valued it at 30,000 square feet. Trump Park Avenue, an outside appraisal in 2010, valued 12 rent-stabilized apartments at $750,000 total. But in subsequent years, they were valued at $50 million total, only $50 million compared to $750. 40 Wall Street, the Trump organization received a bank-ordered appraisal for the commercial property, calculating it at $220 million in 2012. In the next year, 40 Wall Street was valued at $527 million and $530 million. So that gives you a flavor of it. Trump Aberdeen, Mar-a-Lago.